So we will talk something on this line, that how growing inwards helps to impress or carry our impression on others as outwards. So basically what it means is like, unless we grow from within, it is not possible for us to create an impact externally also. So for growing internally, we need to have clarity. We need to have uh, clarity in our own understanding. Clarity in our own understanding, I mean that the, for example, you're working in some place, so you are supposed to know what you're supposed to do. So if you know what you're supposed to do, then it is very clear to you, and then you do that thing accordingly. And if you do not know what you're supposed to do, then it becomes very difficult for you to understand what it needs to be done. So it becomes the responsibility for us to have that clarity in our own understanding what needs to be done. Same goes with life, or same goes with our own living the way we are living. So I normally mention that we are spirit souls on a human journey. So that basically means that we are on a human journey. We are not human beings on a spiritual journey. We are actually spiritual beings on a human journey. So there are other living entities, like there are souls who are on a journey of a tree. There are souls who are journey of a fish. There are souls who are journey of a plant, or a aquatics, or a animal, or insect, or whatever. So all are inherently having that soul, but they are in that particular journey. So what makes a human being better with respect to other animals is that the clarity in which a human being can operate. So the clarity does not come from just being there. The clarity comes by asking questions. So when we ask pertinent questions, you get clarity. So clarity, both types clarity is required. So clarity in communication. Communication means that we hear properly and we speak properly. So when the dialogue of Bhagavad Gita was happening, Krishna was speaking to Arjuna, and Arjuna was asking questions to Krishna, saying that so there was a proper communication happening. So Arjuna had a couple of doubts, and he wanted to refrain from fighting. He wanted to run away from fighting. He wanted to go and beg to earn his living. He didn't want to be there to fight and win the war, or win or lose, whatever may be the case. So he had a doubt. He was in the doubtful situation that, they are all ultimately my relatives. How can I kill them? And it is not proper for me to kill them. I can better, remain alone, or I can better go to a forest and dwell there, ask for my alms, and then live like that. So he was asking, he was thinking of that, he was thinking in that line. But when he presented his questions, his doubts, his apprehensions in front of Krishna, Krishna presented the whole thing very, very clearly to him. And after hearing the entire Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was very clear of his duty. So Arjuna got complete clarity by asking questions. Arjuna got complete clarity by clarifying further by whatever answers he was getting from Krishna in several chapters. If you see second, third, fourth, fifth chapter, so every chapter opens with a question of Arjuna. So what is being said in the previous chapter, Arjuna gets it out, and then the next chapter opens with that. So that's how the communication happens. Communication gives rise to clarity, and clarity comes from when we hear properly and when we mention the things properly. So without clarity, our direction will be lost. We will not be in the proper direction in which we wanted to go. Without clarity, we will not even go whether we are moving further or whether we are moving forward. So that clarity is very, very essential for us. Clarity also leads to commitment. When we are clear about certain thing, that okay, this needs to be done, and that can lead to a commitment of completing that particular responsibility. So while we are in the human form of life, it becomes all the more important for us to have that responsibility of why we have been given this human form of life. So the very purpose why we have been given this human form of life, meaning has a meaning behind it, that it has a purpose. So nothing happens by chance. So if we have got this human form of body, that means there is a purpose behind it. So as I was distinguishing from other animals and human beings, so whenever there is a any discourse happens, whether be it Bhagavad Gita or anything, any knowledge sessions happen, you only see human beings there. You don't see other living entities there, right? So you don't find, there may be cockroaches or dogs or cats or mice and all that thing, ants and all that thing would be there, but they are not there for hearing or understanding that concept or that knowledge. They are there for other reasons. They may be finding their own food, they may be protecting themselves or whatever. So only the human beings have the ability to understand this knowledge, or I would be very, very specific, that the spiritual knowledge. Other than human beings, there are no other species that can have the developed intelligence to understand the spiritual subject matter. So we can have certain clarity in our job responsibility, in our working responsibility, but that responsibility or that clarity of job does not lead us in a spiritual direction. It may help to lead us our own lives. It may help to understand our own present situation, but it is not giving us a direction to lead a spiritually oriented life. So in the mail I had given a sheet to answer few questions. So if you have answered the questions, then if you have some questions, you can type in there. I'll take that towards the end, after we complete our current presentation. So clarity can also come from commitment. That means it is working vice versa. So if you have a clarity, you will be committed. There is a possibility of once giving his full commitment to that particular clarity. But if we are committed for certain things to do, we will seek clarity in that direction. So the spiritual subject matter start from here. If we are committed as a human being to understand the spiritual subject matters, spiritual clarity will come, and that will lead to further commitment in our own spiritual lives, and that will further increase our clarity and understanding to how to maneuver our lives in a way that it will take our lives forward in the spiritual journey. So if we have clarity, that can give rise to commitment, or if we are committed to certain thing, that will also give rise to clarity in that particular commitment, in that particular direction. So how do we grow inwards? We may ask many things. We may ask that why my salary is not increasing, or why I am not getting more in my pay package, or why I am not getting promoted, or we may be asking so many questions in our corporate life cycle. But we have to ask ourselves, do we deserve to be there? If we think that we deserve to be there, we should be there. If we are not there, that means we have certain things that we are yet to gain. There is certain things that we are supposed to get, then we will get there. So we need to look for that particular thing which will get me there, get me to that position, and imbibe that qualities and inculcate that in our own lives, and then we deserve to be in that position. But we may keep on harping on the same issue, that why I am not there, why this is not happening, why it is not happening, why he is there, why he is not there, why I am not there. We may be having so many doubts and so many questions, but the very fact that we are not in that position, and the very fact that we are in the present position, it means that we want to be in this position because that's what we want, whether you believe it or not. Now, if you believe that I want to be raised to the next position, whether it is the position or a salary or whatever it is, then we need to work in that direction to deserve that particular position and to deserve that particular pay package. So that is only possible by raising our own standards. The current lifestyle of the current way of our own carrying out is not sufficient to accommodate that what is demanding of that particular responsibility. If that responsibility is demanding something and we think I can do it, but if it is not there, that means we are not there because we do not have that particular quality. So as I mentioned earlier, that even before diving into Bhagavad Gita, certain qualification is required. Same thing goes everywhere. If you have to get to a particular job responsibility, you have to acquire that qualification before you can be given that. And if you acquire that qualification, you will definitely get there. There is no one who can stop it. There is absolutely not possible that anyone can stop you from going there. If you deserve that, if you have those qualities, if you are having those qualities, you will definitely work in that direction. And it may not be possible that you get the same responsibility in the same place, but you will get somewhere else also. So when we want to deserve more, we have to raise our individual standards. Individual standard does not mean that living style. Individual standard means our level of commitment. So when we increase our level of commitment for our own lives, then we deserve more. And we'll see through an example how to become magnet to miracles. So certain people are very, very attractive in their demeanor, in the sense that whatever they do, it is very attractive. They speak, it attracts a lot of people. They carry out in a way, they do their work in a way, it attracts a lot of people. So it basically means that whatever they do, they have a certain way of doing it, and because of that way that they are doing it, and that way is attractive towards people. That way, that is the way people are getting attracted. You cannot imitate other people. You are what you are who you are. But at the same time, raising the standard means we have to go beyond our comfort zone to acquire those qualities that are required to be in that particular position. Arjuna, when Arjuna had acquired all the qualifications to fight the war, he was a great archer, he had all the knowledge, he had practiced in the dark, he had practiced in the daytime, he had practiced everything that was taught to him by his Guru Dronacharya. And he has also gone to other planets like heavens and other planets to acquire a lot of weapons. So he was well qualified to actually fight and win the war. But what consumed him? Doubts consumed him. So when we have doubts, those doubts will consume us, and the doubts will impede our speed. So that's why it is mentioned that if you are very, very clear, your speed is very fast. You can go at a rapid pace. And if you do not have clarity, it will impede speed and it will pull you down. It will pull all your energy down, right? So to become a magnet of miracles means that what you think, what you speak, what you do are all in the same line. That means your thoughts, your words, and your actions are all in the same line. That means you think this, whatever you think, you speak the same thing and you do the same thing. So when you do this, people will find, you don't have to tell anyone that I'm aligning like this. You don't have to even tell anyone. You just do this. You try to implement this particular thing in your life. And then you will see the authenticity that you carry in your demeanor, in your own personal life, that is going to attract all people. Many people are going to get attracted by that quality of what you are thinking, what you are speaking, and what you are doing. But at the same time, it should be in the correct line. It's not that people who are thinking to blast a train, they are also thinking that, they are also speaking that, and they are also doing that. They are also aligned, but that is on a wrong path. That is on a wrong direction. So we can be committed to do something wrong. The result is going to be severe consequences. We have to be committed to do things right and in the right direction. And the more pain you provide, the more pain you are going to get back. The more pleasure you are providing, the more pleasure you are going to get back. The more committed you are, the more commitment you will attract. The more lazy you are, the more laziness you will attract. So whatever you present in your own personality, same thing is going to get attracted by the people. Those kind of people are going to get attracted the way we carry out ourselves. So I've been mentioning this particular story of Ramayana a couple of times, that when Hanuman started jumping from the Cape Comorin to Lanka. So we will go through each of these pointers and see how Hanuman had all those qualities when he was jumping from Cape Comorin, the southernmost part of India, to Lanka to actually find the whereabouts of Sita. So when he started jumping, he started jumping, and then from there he actually increased his size. He went to the nearby hill, and in that hill he stood up, he made his size bigger, and then he started to jump from there. So when he started to jump from there, so first thing comes, like, why did he jump? So he was very clear that he was, the previously something happens. I'll tell in brief that Jambaban spots that Hanuman can do it. So there is a lot of Vanaras, a lot of monkey soldiers who are there, assembled there, and each one of them were thinking that who can do this. Somebody says I can jump 10 yojanas. Somebody said I can jump 20 yojanas, like that. But 100 yojanas I cannot jump. Angad said I can jump 100 yojanas, but I cannot come back. So Jambavan told Hanuman can do this. So Jambavan had the clarity that Hanuman had the capability to do that. And Hanuman had actually forgotten because of a curse that was given when he was a child. So he was reminded of all his powers. And when he was reminded of all his powers, he got immediate clarity. He had the intention. He was very clear that we have to find Sita. There was no doubt about that. But they were not sure how to do that. So how to do that, that clarity was given by Jambavan. So when the clarity came from Jambavan, Hanuman remembered all his powers, that what he could do, what he had forgotten because of a curse in his childhood. And when he started to leap, now he was very, very clear. He was very clear in his understanding that yes, now I have got I am now equipped for taking on this mission. I am now sufficiently equipped and I will carry it forward. So clarity in communication. So Jambavan also gave a very clear communication saying that, Hanuman can do this. So that means Jambavan also had the clarity that yes, Hanuman can do this. And Hanuman did not have any questions about, are you sure? Can I really do this? Do you? But then the moment he was reminded of, he immediately regained all his memory, and then he immediately started acting. So both hearing and speaking. So he heard the entire thing and he was very, very clear about it. And when he started his jumping, so that clarity actually led to his commitment. So one was, he was already committed that all the Vanaras who were assembled there, they were already committed that we have to find Sita, but they didn't know how, right? Now the clarity came by the communication that happened from Jambavan, and that clarity led to further commitment that, okay, now I have to execute it. I have got the clarity, now I have to execute it. So that clarity led to further commitment, and that commitment led to further clarity, right? Now, when he actually had that complete commitment, then he started to leap up. So when he started to leap, now as usual, whenever we start doing something big or new or something that is of a very significant importance, you often face with challenges, and that's the nature of each and every one, each and every one of the activity that we do. Anything that you do, it inevitably gets some challenges on our path, and that challenges are required for us to grow. If we do not have those challenges, we will not grow. If we do not have those difficulties, we will not learn the lesson that we're supposed to learn from that particular instance. So what happens here? So as Hanuman moves further, so he gets to a point where uh, you know he is now flying above the ocean, and ocean god was sitting within the ocean, and there was another mountain who has taken shelter within the ocean. So the ocean god thought that, Hanuman is trying so hard in the service of Lord Ram, so let us give him some resting place, let us give him some water and breakfast or some food, so that he is relieved of his tiredness. So they wanted to do some service for the person who is dedicated in the service of Lord Ram. So the ocean god requested Mount Mainak to rise above the ocean bed, ocean waters, and provide a resting place for Hanuman so that he could rest some time and then move forward. So as Hanuman is moving forward, he faces a obstacle. What is that obstacle? So that obstacle is nothing but this Mount Mainak. So Hanuman is moving forward, Mount Mainak has now come up, and Mount Mainak is providing a resting place for Hanuman. Now again, what is happening here? There is an obstacle on the path of Hanuman's journey. Now what is the obstacle? The obstacle, it is a pleasant obstacle basically. So what happens whenever we move forward in the service of the Lord, some kind of facilities come, and those facilities often put us in a mode of complacency. So Mount Mainak is providing a place to rest, which actually meant for Hanuman as an obstacle, as a complacency. So Mount Mainak here is referred to as complacency or laziness. But what Hanuman did? Hanuman moved forward. Hanuman did not deny the request of ocean god and Mount Mainak. He accepted the hospitality of them. Accepted means he did not stay there. He just folded his hands and said, I am on a great mission and I do not have time even to stay for some time, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you have provided this, and I am grateful to you. He touched the Mount Mainak and moved forward. So if Hanuman would have stopped and had some food and water, that would have definitely pleased the ocean god and the Mount Mainak. But when he did not accept that with a clarity, and the clarity was, I have a bigger mission to achieve. I do not have time for eating, neither I am hungry. And even if I am hungry, probably I do not have the time to wait here. And both Ocean God and Mainak Mountain were happy that he is such a committed person. and he's very, very clear. So whenever we get complacency or laziness, if we are clear about our goal, complacency and laziness will not take over. It cannot take over. You may be tired, you may take rest. Getting tired and taking rest is required. I mean, if you get tired, you take rest. That's fine. But laziness is something goes beyond that. So laziness is like, I don't want to do anything, or something is there which which it can be done later, and then I'll just take a nap or just lie down. Complacency and laziness often peeps in whenever we don't have something very burning thing to do, very, very important thing to do. So if we have a clear goal, then laziness and complacency will not peep in. Most often we do not have a clear goal, or most often we think that things are happening nicely, so let it happen. So why to endeavor more for getting more? So that means you don't deserve more, because if we are not endeavoring more to get more, we do not deserve more. So when I say deserving more by raising the standards, means getting over that complacency and laziness will make us raise our own standards, which will qualify us to deserve more. So further, when Hanuman moves, he is encountered with a Surosa. Sorry. So Surosa was standing on the way of Hanuman, and she had a huge open mouth, like as if she would devour Hanuman. Hanuman was a very whatever Hanuman's size was, the Surosa's mouth was such a big mouth, it would look like as if she will devour Hanuman right away. Now Hanuman is having that clarity that I am going on a mission. So Hanuman requests Surosa, saying that, see, I am on a mission. I would not mind if you eat me, but I would request you that you please allow me to go complete my mission, come back, and then you can eat me. Now, if you actually think that was Hanuman dodging, was Hanuman telling a lie, was Hanuman escaping by telling this? Sincerely, he was not. He was very, very sincere, and he meant what he said. He meant what he actually said. What does that mean? If Surosa would have left that, okay, you go complete your work, come back, I'm going to eat you. Definitely Hanuman would have completed the responsibility and came back, informed Ram and everyone, and then came to Surosa and be her food. That's how the commitment level is. That is the level of truthfulness, and that is the level of commitment. And it is not just telling something. So when I say, when your thoughts, words, and actions are aligned, you become the magnet to miracles. So Hanuman, he did not say for the sake of saying it. He actually meant it. That means his words, his thoughts, and his action were totally aligned. So are you able to make the difference between the commitment level of Hanuman and us? I'm not comparing, but we should understand. So Hanuman said, I will go and come back. Surosa said, I have got the boon of Brahma, that anyone passing by must enter my mouth, and without that nobody can escape. So Hanuman grew his size, he became big. Surosa grew her mouth, she also became big. And like that, the competition went for a long time. Suddenly, Hanuman reduced his size to a minuscule form, entered Surosa's mouth, roamed around, and came back and said, I have kept the word of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma wanted that everybody should enter your mouth. I entered your mouth and came back. So now let me go. Surosa was very, very pleased with the intelligence of Hanuman. She blessed. She said, you will be the winner. You will be victorious. All victory to you. Vijay Bhava. So she said that you will definitely find Sita, because you are very clever and you are very intelligent and you are also truthful. So what we learn from this? So Surasa represents false pride. So whenever we encounter people to whom we tend to argue, fight, get angry, something like that, all those things come because of the pride. So Surasa had a bigger mouth, and Hanuman grew his size to become further bigger. And what happened? Surosa also increased her size. So that means they were actually growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's what happens when two people fight or argue or get angry. One person starts boasting about himself, other person starts telling about himself. They keep on growing their own size of the ego, their own size of the anger, their own size of the pride. But what Hanuman did, suddenly he became a minuscule form and entered Surosa's mouth and came out. So what actually happened is Hanuman took a humble position. If two people fight, if the goal is very, very clear, Hanuman had a very clear goal. I have to find Sita. My goal is not to defeat Surasa. My goal is not to enter Surasa's mouth. My goal is not to become bigger or prove bigger than Surasa. My goal is not to be entangled here and waste time. My goal is to go find Sita. So why waste time here? So become humble. So if two people fight, if one person takes the humble position, it is understood that he is a very wise person. He is very clear that he wants to protect the relationship. He does not want to fight. Relationship is more important than the fight, or than proving oneself better or more qualified or more better or having whatever things that somebody is proving. So proving oneself better does not guarantee a sustainable relationship. If being humble sustains the relationship, become humble and protect the relationship, because the relationship ultimately is more important than becoming proud or proving one's own authority over others. That's not the goal of life, right? So what Hanuman did? Hanuman entered the mouth of Surosa, came back, told, I have protected the word of Lord Brahma, now let me go. Surosa blesses and Hanuman leaves. Now Hanuman encounters another demoness on the way. Hanuman was flying on top, and suddenly he is not able to move. When he looks down, he finds that there is a demoness called Simhika. She has held on to the shadow of Hanuman, and that's how Hanuman is not able to move in the sky. And suddenly she pulls down the shadow, and Hanuman comes crashing down. And Surasa, Simhika, gulps Hanuman, eats up. So eats up means actually Surasa consumes Hanuman with her mouth. So now all the demigods and all the devatas are watching from top how Hanuman is moving from, because devatas have called Lord Ram. Lord Ram has already descended. Now he has to go find Sita. Then Lord Ram will go and then kill them, kill all the demons and Raman. So devatas were all watching from top, like what is happening here. So when devatas saw that Hanuman was actually eaten up by Simhika, they were kind of totally worried. But what Hanuman does? Hanuman enters her mouth. Hanuman goes to the heart of her, rips apart her heart, kills her, pierces her body and comes out. And she lies dead there. So Simhika, so here also it is very important to understand that Hanuman had that complete clarity. So because Hanuman had that complete clarity that I do not have to waste my time fighting with this, demoness. My goal is something bigger. My goal is to find Sita. He was very, very clear. He was very, very committed. And he didn't want to waste any time in between whatever obstacles that is coming in. So all the obstacles will look or behave like insurmountable when we lack the vision of our goal. Every small thing will look like a mountain. At the same time, if we are very, very clear about the goal, every mountain will seem like a small hillock, and we can easily cross over that. So we should have a pertinent, definite goal in our life to which we want to pursue. And once we are clear about that goal, any obstacle that comes on our way will only serve as a learning lesson to achieve that goal rather than become a stumbling block or an obstacle. So Hanuman was very, very clear. And what Hanuman did, so Hanuman's clarity was that he wanted to go with his own mission, and he didn't want to waste his own time. So he was very clear in his understanding. He was committed to what he wanted to do. And because he was committed, he had all the intelligence to do whatever needs to be done at the very moment. So for Surosa, he became small. For Simika, he killed Simika. So he is doing different things at different places. So Simika here represents envy. Envy means what? Envy or holding on to the dark side of people. So when we hold on to the dark side of people, we kind of crib or find faults or put that person down to prove ourselves up. So this particular finding fault or pulling down a person with his bad qualities is represented by here as Simika. So Hanuman does not bother whether somebody pulls him down, whether somebody chastises him, whether somebody tells him anything. He's the least affected, but he's very clear with his mission. So as he moves forward, so he goes and encounters, he reaches Lanka. And when he reaches Lanka, it was still the evening. And he sees that there is a guard standing in front of the gate of the city Lanka. He thought, if I go in the daytime, people will spot me. So he went over the entire Lanka. He just observed the whole thing. He climbed up a huge tall tree, sat there observing what is going on. And he thought, let the evening come, let the night fall, and then I will enter the city. By then people will sleep. So when the night fell, he came down and he started entering the city of Lanka. He took a very, very minuscule form, like small cat, very, very small form he took. And then he started entering the gate where the guard was already there. And the guard was Lankini. So Lankini was already standing and Hanuman entered. Now Lankini was a very great in the sense that her guard qualification was very good. She could immediately spot somebody is intruding, without her permission. So Lankini immediately spots Hanuman. Hey, you, where are you going? You can't enter the Lanka in my presence. So Hanuman does not say anything. He keeps on moving. But somehow Lankini stops Hanuman's movement. So Hanuman comes to the size of Lankini. He does not speak anything. He just gives a big blow, big slap on the face of Lankini. And Lankini falls flat. She kind of gets dizzy. She kind of gets, fainted basically. She loses her consciousness. And after some time, she regains her consciousness and comes back and stands up. And then she says, who are you? She's asking, who are you? Then Hanuman said, I am Hanuman, the servant of Lord Ram. And then she introduces, I am Lankini, the guard, the protector of this fortress Lanka. So then she remembers a boon given by Lord Brahma. She tells that, I think the beginning of the Lanka's end has come. The beginning of the end of Lanka has come. Why is that? So she says, Brahma had told me that the day a monkey comes and slaps you and you fall, that day will be the beginning of the end of the Lanka. So she says that, okay, my responsibility of guarding Lanka's gate is over. So she now leaves the job and she basically goes away. And she tells Hanuman, now you go and do whatever you want. So that's how Hanuman enters. Again, Hanuman had the complete clarity that I have to go no matter what, whether Lankini comes, whether who comes. You know, he does not have any doubt in his entire duration of his journey that what he is supposed to do, and he does not have the iota of the single minute minuscule doubt or lack of energy or enthusiasm in pursuing the goal that he is looking at. He did not have any doubt. So because he didn't have any doubt, his speed was not impeded, his speed was not reduced. Because he didn't have any doubt, whatever came in his way, he was able to deal with that properly, whatever came on his way, and each thing got him a good lesson. And from his activities, how he dealt in that particular situation, we are learning so much from him, right? So let us understand that what actually uh, we are supposed to do now. So when I say that we should have proper clarity, so we must have proper clarity. And to get that clarity, we need some information or we need some help. So basically, if you do you think that there is a lot more to learn now? There is a lot more to learn in Bhagavad Gita or in spirituality. If you think, can type in yes, or you can unmute and speak. Do you think that there is a lot more to learn? Like what we went through as a very small portion of Hanuman's jump from one place to another, and there are several pastimes that had taken place, and in all of them we learn a lot of lessons. So even from Bhagavad Gita, so if you just see the Bhagavad Gita first chapter, first verse itself, Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra Samaveta Yuchava Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjay. Sanjay is sitting in his room and Sanjay is able to visualize what is happening in the war field of Kurukshetra. And he is telling Dhritarashtra what is happening there. Now Dhritarashtra is asking, after my sons and sons of Pandu assembled there, what did they do? Now, apparently, it will seem like a foolish question. How Dhritarashtra can ask such a foolish question? Does he not know that they have assembled there for a purpose of fight? Definitely they are going to fight. So what is the doubt in that? But Dhritarashtra had a different intention of understanding. He was thinking, Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra. That means the Kurukshetra is a Dharma Kshetra. It is a place of pilgrimage. Since it was a place of pilgrimage, and he knew that his sons were on the side of adharma, on the side of not religious principles, since they were fighting in the place of a religious significance or a spiritual significance, Dhritarashtra was not willing to accept that his sons compromise on the ground of religiosity. His sons should not take the impact of the place of pilgrimage on them and refrain from fighting or compromise or do anything like that. So that's what his intention was. He was definitely thinking that no, this has to happen. The war has to happen, because he was confident that Bhishma was on his side, Drona was on his side, and all the big generals on his side, and Duryodhana is definitely going to win, because they are only like kind of 5 and few soldiers, but we have big generals. So that's again a wrong estimate of on the Dhritarashtra's side or Duryodhana's side, that they go on quantity. whereas Pandavas went on quality. Pandavas decided to have quality on their side rather than quantity. Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana decided to have quantity rather than quality. So they had 13 Akshonis of, they had 11 Akshonis of Sena, whereas Pandavas had only 9. So if you compare, there is no comparison, but still Pandavas won. Still Arjuna took over, or the Pandavas were actually emerged victorious. So Krishna says in this first, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that whenever there is a there is a paddy field. So if there is a paddy field, the paddy field also comes with a lot of grass. So you put paddy there, and along with paddy also comes grass. So do we want to grow grass, or do you want to grow paddy? We want to grow paddy, not grass, right? So we want to grow paddy, but not grass. But grass grows because the paddy field, no matter what you do, you put all the fertilizer you put all the watering, you put all the things that is required for the paddy, grass grows. Grass is not meant to grow in the paddy field, but grass is supposed to be removed, right? So when somebody gets down the field and removes grass, uproots the grass, how many people complain? You are killing the grasses. How can you do that? Does people complain? Why do you remove the grass? Grass also has the right to live. Does anyone complain? No? Yes or no? No one complains, right? But when people just read the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita and they do not move forward, they complain that Arjuna didn't want to fight. Unnecessarily Krishna provoked him to fight. Arjuna was a good boy. He was a good person. So why Krishna provoked him to fight? So this is the understanding clarity, that Krishna wanted all the grass to be removed from the paddy field. The paddy was Pandavas, and the grass was Duryodhana and team, or the Kauravas. So the paddy is usually less in number, less in quantity, but high in quality. Grass is usually more in quantity and very negligible in quality, right? So we have to preserve the paddy, preserve the quality and not the quantity. We do not have to be sorrowful or become sad. Oh, so much of grass has died, so much of grass has gone. We don't keep on lamenting on death of grass. So if the antisocial elements are removed from the society, society flourishes. If the antisocial elements are punished or they are restricted, society is able to function the way the society should be. But if the antisocial elements are given nourishment, if they are given proper food and shelter, and whereas the paddy or the actual social elements are not given proper nourishment, they fall apart and the antisocial elements grow. That is why Bhagavad Gita was spoken, to give clarity to Arjuna that you are not removing the paddy, you are removing the grass, and it is your responsibility to remove the grass. As a farmer, it is your responsibility to remove the grass. As a warrior, it is your responsibility to annihilate the miscreants or the antisocial elements, even though they are your family members, even though they are your direct relatives, even though they are very, very near and dear ones. How many of us think that the difficulties Pandavas faced in their own lives are something synonymous to us? Did we face all the difficulties that Pandavas faced in their lives, in our lives? Do you think that we have got so much of pain, so much of difficulty in our lives, what Pandavas actually went through? Does our land was stolen, our wife was abducted, or our house was put on fire? So anything was done with us? Nothing, right? So we are actually seen to be better off situation than the Pandavas. So, but still, we should understand that the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna and for a purpose that they should remove the grass. So, how it is relevant to our lives? How it is, how the Bhagavad Gita is actually relevant to us now? In our consciousness alone, we are planting paddy and we are planting grasses. Even though we may not be planting grasses, they all come. So by paddy means our good thoughts, our good intentions. They are our paddy. They are our things that is required for us to grow. But what is paddy? What is grass? All those unwanted things that are actually consuming our mind space, that are actually consuming our time, that are actually consuming our effort, not giving any result. Those all things are basically referred to as paddy, so referred to as grass. So we should not be worried to remove those grass from our consciousness by putting a little effort. And Krishna is going to help through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita how to remove those grasses. So when I mentioned that my father expired and then I tried to understand the Bhagavad Gita by going through the entire thing, it took a lot of time for me. And a lot of time means actually I went through the Bhagavad Gita couple of near about 5-6 times. And after going through that, I also went through a couple of courses. And then only I could understand what Bhagavad Gita is actually trying to convey. Now, you could actually derive professional lessons from Bhagavad Gita, as we to some extent went through in today's session. Some principles we went through. So each and every sloka can give rise to a practical application of our situation in our practical daily lives. But what should be our ultimate goal? What should be our ultimate purpose of life? Whether we are clear about that, that clarity comes from Bhagavad Gita. And if we go through the entire Bhagavad Gita once, twice, thrice, you will not get that clarity.